Good evening, everyone. It's Matt with the DPI show, and today is Thursday, May the 20th. It is a DPI family show. Before we even got started, Wood Palos 3000. Hey, thanks for joining us. Hope you find something you like here. But tonight, Allie's going to be on the show. We are going to have some fun talking about rides at Disney that are for all ages. So either no height restriction or very low height restrictions. And we're going to talk about the things that you can do at each park at Walt Disney World. So without further ado, let me bring on Allie here. Alison, how you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. So tell me a little bit about why you wanted to talk about this tonight.
Because I was starting to run out of ideas.
Starting to run out of ideas. That's a good reason to do that.
Okay.
So we're talking about people and, mainly guests with smaller kids, younger kids, babies even. So what park do you really want to start at when it comes to these rides? Are you just kind of all over the place?
I just followed the order that it told me.
So it was in alphabetical order.
Are you sure? Because Toy Story Mania is the first one.
Okay. So let's talk about rides that really have no height restriction. And when we're talking about rides that have no height restriction, what type of rides are we talking about?
So usually it's boat rides. There's some like the ones that kind of just fly up in the air, like Dumbo, the flying elephants, and the Aladdin's magic carpets or whatever, and rides like those. And rides that usually don't go slow and aren't really roller coasters and have any big hills.
Okay, so when we're talking about those types of rides, let's start at Magic Kingdom. So when you think about those types of rides and you go over to, let's start in Adventureland, so you have Jungle Cruise, has no height requirement. Pirates of the Caribbean, no height requirement. Magic Carpets of Aladdin, no height requirement. The Enchanted Tiki Room, no height requirement. So we basically just went through a whole land, and none of the attractions there have a height requirement. Now when we get to Frontierland, it changes a little bit. You have Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain that both would have height requirements, correct?
Uh-huh.
What are the height requirements on those two rides?
Okay, so which ones?
Splash and Big Thunder Mountain.
Okay, so Splash Mountain. A Space Mountain. Apparently I missed it. But the other one is 40 inches.
40 inches for Big Thunder Mountain. So 3 foot, 4 inches. So really that's not a huge height restriction. Let's see, Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain. 40 inches for Splash Mountain as well.
Okay.
So the same. As you come back around, Mark Twain Island won't have a height restriction. Country Bears, no height restriction. Haunted Mansion, no height restriction. Peter Pan, no height restriction. Small World, no height restriction. PhilharMagic, no height restriction. King Arthur's Carousel, no height restriction. So on all of one side of the park, so we've basically gone through one complete side of Magic Kingdom. There are 2 rides with height restrictions, and they're the 2 mountain rides. When you get over onto the other side of the park, you have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. What's the Seven Dwarfs height restriction?
38.
38. So it's even less than Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain, which is kind of cool. I mean, when you think about it, that means that your kids that are smaller can ride that before they get on the other mountain rides, which is kind of nice because it kind of is like a prep coaster when you're thinking about it. It really gets a kid ready for bigger coasters. So, what else do you have on your list there that could be?
He looks up,
A beginning.
smile on his face,
Yeah.
and says, "But I'm
Yeah.
changing the world for that starfish."
I have. I have Barnstormer, which is 35, which is somewhat of a smaller roller coaster.
Yeah.
I have Swirling Saucers, that is at 32, which honestly surprised me. I didn't think that it would really have a height restriction, but it's the lowest one.
Yeah, Swirling Saucers was kind of one that I was surprised that had a height restriction as well. And that's over at
Oh, I have.
Hollywood Studios.
Whoops. On the back, I forgot to write the.
It might have been a good idea for you to be a little bit more organized tonight, wouldn't it?
Well, I was in there's only.
So Magic Kingdom. When we get to the backside of Magic Kingdom, you've got Under the Sea with the Little Mermaid, no height restriction. Barnstormer has a small one, 36.
Oh.
Dumbo,
35.
okay, 35 for Barnstormer. Dumbo, no height restriction. Teacups, no height restriction.
Yes.
Tomorrowland Speedway,
That's at 32.
32, which is surprising, but it makes a lot of sense because you kind of have to be able to hold yourself up. It's not necessarily a ride that a baby could do. Astro Orbiter,
That one is not on here. It's
not on there. Really?
Of course, there were a lot of other events, usually at Animal Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of events that they had on meeting animals, but I really didn't feel like those were rides and stuff, so I didn't include them. But they were like everywhere. So I kind of just skipped through them. So I might have had something that I skipped through that I shouldn't have.
Well, that's not good. You shouldn't have skipped things.
If I didn't, then I would be here until like Monday trying to write all of them.
Wood Palace, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. I appreciate it. That means a lot. You're our actual first follower on Twitch, which is pretty cool.
Whoa! That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So you get the #1 badge.
Here you go.
When you think of the other rides, Space Mountain obviously has a height restriction. It's a roller coaster, basically.
44.
44. So that's the largest height restriction at the Magic Kingdom. Easily. 40 on the other two mountains. So, yeah.
Yes.
And then, Carousel of Progress, no height restriction. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, is there a height restriction on that?
I remember writing that, but I don't know where I put it. It has no height restriction.
No height restriction on Space Ranger Spin, and then on the People Mover. So in all reality, there are 5 rides at Magic Kingdom that have height restrictions. So if you do have a smaller kid, Magic Kingdom's a fantastic park to go to because you can basically ride everything.
Yeah.
which is really, really cool. Now when we go to the other parks, that changes a little bit.
Yeah.
So a lot. So when we think about, let's go to Epcot, because Epcot probably has the least rides of the other parks.
Mm-hmm.
At Epcot, Living with the Land, the Finding Nemo ride, Spaceship Earth, Three Caballeros, no height restriction. How about Frozen?
That has no height restriction.
Frozen has no height restriction.
Yeah, it says Frozen Ever After, and it
See,
had no height restriction.
That kind of surprises me with
Same.
the drops.
Yeah, it has like some of the fast backward stuff. And it
Yeah.
also has that like tall hill that when you go backwards, then you go backwards down it, and you get splashed.
Yeah, that's. I think that's. I mean, it doesn't have a lap bar, so I guess that makes sense. But yeah, that's really surprising. Really surprising, honestly. What other? Soarin'.
I know that I wrote that one down. Ha. Soren is at 40.
Soarin's at 40. How about Test Track?
There's so many ones that start with T. Oh, 40.
40 for Test Track as well. So, in all honesty, how about Mission Space? I think that's the one that may have a weird one, just because it's kind of like it's a simulator.
That one isn't on here.
Mission Space isn't on there.
No.
Let's see. You didn't do a good job with your
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember what it is.
Mission Space. Blast off. 40 on Mission Space. So the 3 rides that have 2 rides.
Huh?
3 rides that have height restrictions. Soarin', Test Track, Mission Space. All have 40s at Epcot. And then when Remy's Ratatouille Adventure opens, I don't know that that's going to have a... Ratatouille Adventure.
Ratatouille.
I don't know that it's going to have any height, so it won't have a height restriction when it opens in October at Epcot.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. We probably won't see it until sometime next year, but that's all for another show. Join us on Tuesday when Matt rants about Disney doing stuff.
Yes, Disney doing stuff. Did you come up with that,
No.
like, right that second?
Yeah. Pretty good, right? All right. So let's go to Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios probably has some of the rides with the largest height requirements because it has roller coasters that go upside down. So Rock and Roller Coaster, let's just knock that one right out.
48.
48. And now that Primeval Whirl is not at Animal Kingdom, 48 is the tallest height requirement for any ride, correct? Are you sure? You should have organized your rides better.
For the 8th.
48?
For
Okay.
the 8th.
48. 48's the tallest that you need to be to ride anything at any of the parks, which is not bad. I mean, Brayden's almost 48 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mommy's barely 48 inches tall. So is Mimi. So,
Don't make fun of your mom like that.
Mimi, if you're watching. Shannon's watching. Hi, Shane. Here, I'll give you a like this. Comes out of the D. So yeah, 48 over at Hollywood Studios. What about the two new rides, Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run?
Smuggler's Run? Wait, isn't Star Tours? No, Star Tours. Wait, what's Star Tours?
Star Tours?
Yes.
What is it, or what's the height requirement on it?
No, Rise of the Resistance is 40.
Okay. Smuggler's Run. Star Tours has been at studios for a while.
Well, what is it? Is that the one where you meet Chewbacca and stuff?
Star Tours is the one that's like the big simulator where you have the spy on your ship.
Oh. Smugglers.
Didn't write it down?
Yes.
Good job. Good job. It's the last time I let you do any research for me.
Yay! No more research.
Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I want to say it's 40. 38. 38 inches for Smuggler's Run. Which again, it's surprising because Rise of the Resistance has a higher height restriction, but Smuggler's Run is a pretty movement oriented motion simulator. So that's kind of interesting.
Well then, Star Tours is at 40.
Star Tours is at 40, which I could see that because again,
I can't.
big motion simulator. When you talk about small kids rides at Hollywood Studios, what are you talking about though? You're talking about Midway Mania. You're talking about Slinky Dog Dash. You're talking about
Not
Alien
Swirling
Swirling.
Saucers.
Yeah, Swirling Saucers has a height restriction, which is crazy.
Yeah, it has 32, which is the lowest, but
It's still yeah. It means that a baby can't ride it, and that's just because of that whip action on it.
Yeah.
What about... So, of course the shows aren't going to have height restrictions because the seats don't move. So you've got, like, the Frozen show, and you've got Beauty and the Beast when it comes back. You've got the Indiana Jones show when it comes back. What about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway?
I know that's height restriction. I don't know what it is.
It has a height restriction. You are terrible.
No, I wrote it down, but I forgot the
Any height.
The instant.
Any height. No height restriction.
Huh?
No height restriction.
Oh yeah, I wrote it under no height, but I read it wrong.
Good job. All right.
That's why I didn't write them there.
So we're coming up on another Disney trip. You know, we've got one more park, Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, really, you've got Everest, you've got Dinosaur, you've got Flight of Passage. You've got a lot of rides that have height restrictions. Yes. You have Triceratops Spin that wouldn't. You have Na'vi River Journey that wouldn't. But yeah, it's a lot of rides with height restrictions there. Tough to Be a Bug doesn't have a height restriction. But we have a trip coming up within the next month. What are you looking forward to the most on this trip?
You get a full day at Animal Kingdom.
A full day at Animal Kingdom. What do you know?
Animal Kingdom is my favorite park.
Which is kind of crazy. I didn't take you to be an Animal Kingdom person. Don't pout. You don't have to be sad. But yeah, I guess the big thing is you know, we've been doing shows like this for over a year now. Since before the shutdown, we really started the live shows beginning of last year. And I've been doing these live shows for a while, but we're going to be doing some live shows from the parks here coming up. So definitely watch over on the Facebook page at DPI Podcast or on the Twitter account at Disney Insights to see when we're going live. Allie and I are going to be live basically every morning that we're there, except for the day we go to Discovery Cove. So lots of live content, lots of new content coming, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Anything on your list that's surprising or that surprised you when you were looking at it? Other than swirling saucers. I think swirling saucers surprised you.
I don't, I think a dinosaur at 40, I think it should have been closer than 40.
You thought it should have been lower than 40?
4, yes, 4.
It's kind of a rough ride, though.
Rough, so that means doggy's rated. Ruff, ruff.
I'm losing you.
Ruff, 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 ruff.
I'm losing you. Let's see. Do we have any questions anywhere? Don't make fun of me. Pens up one after one. Hey,
Yay!
Brian. How you doing?
Who
Content.
said don't make fun of me? 'Cause they're
Mommy
nice.
did. Just because I used a little aviator strap on Soren.
Sanko, mommy.
Yeah, I think, you know, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is we're going to get some more time at Springs, Disney Springs this time. We're spending 2 nights and a full day at Springs, so I think that's going to be really fun. So we're going to have a lot of time to explore over there, take some pictures, go over to Saratoga Springs if we want, you know, things like that.
Oh, Space Ranger Spin doesn't have a height restriction.
That was seriously like 10 minutes ago.
I just wanted to point it out. Yeah, just you can just read it, guys.
Nah, I don't think they can. You got anything else for our viewers tonight? We've had a few. Again, thank you, Wood Palos 3000 for the first follower on Twitch. Surprised Brian Heidel wasn't the first follower on Twitch. Thanks,
Jeez.
Brian Heidel. But I guess somebody else got to be the first follower on the stream over on Twitch. But yeah, anything else? Let's go, Pens.
Let's go, Pens! Spin the towel.
You're spinning the towel. Spinning a pua. There you go. All right. Hey, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Let me get into the outro here.
Ow.
Ouch. Hey, thanks for watching tonight. Allie was on the show, and we talked a little bit about height requirements for rides and attractions around the Disney properties. If you're looking to book a Disney trip, definitely get with our friends over at Princesses and the Mouse. You can contact them at our page on Facebook at DPI Podcast, on Twitter at Disney Insights, or on their Facebook page at PATM Disney Travel. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Join us again Tuesday night for the DPI News and Notes show over on Facebook.